You think the delay in your blessing means God has forgotten you, but the hidden truth is that the delay itself is proof that your breakthrough is closer than you realize, because when heaven is about to release something great into your life, the process almost always slows down, stretches longer, and tests you harder, not to deny you, but to prepare you. And the first reason your blessing feels delayed is because God is secretly strengthening your faith. For Hebrews 11:1 reminds us that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, which means if you could see it already, you would not need faith. So God allows the waiting season to deepen your trust, to strip away your dependence on people, and to anchor you in His promises, even when circumstances scream the opposite. And though it feels cruel, the delay is building an unshakable faith muscle in you that will sustain the weight of the blessing once it comes. The second reason your blessing feels delayed is because God is exposing hidden motives. Because while you cry out for breakthrough, He sees the parts of your heart still tied to pride, selfishness, or validation from others. And since James chapter 4:3 warns that we often ask but do not receive because we ask with wrong motives, the delay becomes His mercy, giving you time to purify your desires, so that when the blessing arrives, you will not idolize it, worship it, or use it to harm yourself. And though you wonder why others seem to advance faster, God is secretly refining you so that what He gives you will not destroy you. The third reason your blessing feels delayed is because of spiritual warfare, because the enemy fights hardest when your breakthrough is closest, as Daniel 10 reveals when Daniel prayed and God sent the answer immediately. Yet the prince of Persia resisted the angel for 21 days until Michael the archangel came to help, showing that what feels like a delay is often a battle in the unseen realm. And the shocking truth is that the very resistance you feel, the sleepless nights, the overwhelming pressure, the sudden setbacks, are evidence that something is on its way, because the devil would not fight you this hard if there was nothing worth fighting for. The fourth reason your blessing feels delayed is because God is aligning circumstances, because what He is doing in your life often involves people, places, and timing you cannot control. And if He gave it to you too early, it would collapse. So like Joseph in Genesis 41, who had to endure years of prison before stepping into the palace, you are not being punished but positioned. And though it feels like nothing is happening, behind the curtain, God is orchestrating details, moving hearts, opening opportunities, and setting the stage so that when the blessing finally arrives, it will fit perfectly into His greater plan for you. The fifth reason your blessing feels delayed is because God is testing your obedience. For Deuteronomy 8:2 says He led Israel through the wilderness to humble them and test what was in their hearts. And sometimes the waiting season is simply a proving ground where God watches how you respond when prayers seem unanswered. Because if you cannot serve Him faithfully in lack, you will not steward His blessing wisely in abundance. And this test is not about earning His love, but about showing whether your commitment is conditional or unshakable. And the shocking part is that many people fail the test at the last moment by giving up, when the blessing was already prepared and about to be released. But here is what you must understand. The very intensity of your current struggle, the heaviness of the delay, the silence you feel, are not signs that God has abandoned you, but signs that you are on the edge of fulfillment. Because Isaiah 60:22 says that when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen quickly, which means long seasons of waiting can suddenly turn into overnight breakthroughs. And while you are busy crying over the delay, heaven is secretly arranging a sudden acceleration that will make up for lost time. So instead of despising the delay, you must see it as a signpost that the blessing is close. And every test, every tear, every closed door is shaping you to carry what is coming without breaking under its weight. You think your waiting season is wasted time, but the shocking truth is that nothing about the delay is wasted. Because Romans 8:28 promises that all things work together for good to those who love God. And that includes the pain of unanswered prayers, the confusion of silence, and the years of hoping without seeing. And one of the hidden reasons your blessing feels delayed is because God is developing endurance in you. For James chapter 1, 3-4 says that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And when perseverance finishes its work, you will be mature and complete, lacking nothing, meaning the very pressure you despise is producing the strength you will need to not only receive but sustain the blessing when it comes. And without that endurance, you would not survive the responsibility attached to the breakthrough. Another hidden reason is that God is preparing people connected to your destiny, because what He has for you often requires the right relationships, partnerships, and divine connections. And if He released your blessing too soon, you would not yet be aligned with those who are meant to walk with you. So the delay is a secret orchestration where He is moving pieces on the chessboard of your life until everything aligns at the right moment. Just as Ruth's path looked delayed and painful until it led her to Boaz, a divine connection that unlocked her destiny. Another reason your blessing feels delayed is because God is cutting away what cannot go with you. For John 15:2 says, "Every branch that does not bear fruit, He takes away," and sometimes the delay is God removing toxic people, unhealthy habits, or hidden sins that would sabotage your blessing if carried into the next season. And though it feels like loss, though you wonder why friends fall away or why doors close, it is secretly His pruning so that when the blessing comes, you are free from what would choke it. Another reason is that God is teaching you stewardship in small things. Because Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much." And the delay often looks like menial assignments, hidden seasons, or responsibilities that feel beneath you. But in truth, God is measuring how you handle them before releasing more. And if you learn to serve, to give, to stay diligent in obscurity, He knows you can be trusted with visibility, abundance, and blessing. So the delay is actually His way of entrusting you with more than you asked. Another hidden reason is that the enemy is trying to wear you down before your breakthrough. For Galatians 6:9 warns not to grow weary in well-doing, because in due season you will reap if you do not faint, which means the temptation to quit is greatest right before the harvest appears. And the heaviness you feel right now is not proof that nothing is happening, but proof that everything is about to shift. And the devil knows if he can convince you to give up now, he can steal the blessing already written in heaven with your name on it. But what you must never forget is that God's delays are not denials, and when He finally moves, He restores what was lost, redeems the time, and releases blessings in such measure that the years of waiting feel like nothing compared to the joy of fulfillment. Just as Sarah's laughter after decades of barrenness proved that no word from God fails, and Joseph's sudden promotion after years of prison showed that the pit was only preparation for the palace. So your current delay is not the end of the story, but the middle chapter in a testimony that will shock everyone who doubted you. Therefore, you must shift your perspective, because the waiting is not punishment, the delay is not rejection, and the silence is not abandonment. It is the secret sign that God is closer than you think. And when the right moment comes, the blessing that felt delayed will break forth suddenly, overwhelmingly, and undeniably, leaving you with the revelation that what you thought was wasted time was actually preparation. And the pain you felt was the hidden proof that heaven was closer than you dared to believe. So do not give up, do not lose heart, because your blessing is not just on the way. It is already written, already assigned, and its delay is the clearest evidence that it is closer now than it has ever been before.